Right now, me and social media are not friends. And you know why? Because I keep picking up this instead of picking up this. And I don't feel in control of that choice anymore.
My sweet girl, you are not stuck. You're just spending way too much time on your phone.
12 hours.
Oh my God. Half of the day,
5 hours and 47 minutes.
While you're awake, you're on your phone every second.
I cannot tell you how many times I've been having a normal start to the day. I get on my phone and the whole trajectory of my day is completely ruined.
Yesterday I spent 6 hours scrolling on TikTok.
Holy shit.
We all know social media is a distraction, right? We know it. But at this point in time, right now, it has become so much more than that. It's no longer something that you just do for 30 minutes to catch up with what your friends are up to, or post a picture of what you ate for lunch. It's a full-blown assault on our time, one we are really struggling to get away from. And the most annoying part, for me at least, is that I didn't really pick up on my own social media usage and how it was affecting my reading habit until I went on a 2-week trip to Japan, came back and realized that I didn't miss social media the whole time. So let's talk about that, shall we? Okay, let's give some context. This is my screen time right now, over the past few days. Annoyingly, I can't show you what it was like before Japan, but just so you know, it was worse. My screen time right now is not something I'm proud of either. The majority of that time is spent on Instagram. Oh, and it's not just me replying to comments or commenting on other people's posts either. That takes about 10 minutes. It's literally me scrolling through Reels. For you, that time might be spent on TikTok or YouTube or some other platform instead. In fact, take a look at your screen time right now. Go on, I'll wait. Bad, isn't it? I'm a millennial, so I grew up in a time when phones weren't a thing. There was no social media until I was older. There was hardly any screen time, unless you count playing video games like The Lion King and The Sims. Which we probably should because I was addicted. And I think I can speak for other millennials when I say this, but that time felt like bliss. Our hobbies were playing video games we rented from Blockbuster. We went outside and we made up games to play on the grass or in the woods. We played with toys for hours. We weren't fed anything. We created it ourselves. Even before university, I would sit in a small room at the back of my house and plan out my own fantasy worlds for hours. I'd create detailed maps and characters without any distractions whatsoever. Now I struggle. I want to do it, but I find it so hard to not only focus, but to get going in the first place. And here's the worst part. It shouldn't be that difficult. It's not easy creating something from scratch, obviously, but it shouldn't be difficult to focus on something that you love. This isn't me having to do chores or fill out my taxes and so my mind drifts elsewhere. This is something I enjoy doing. It shouldn't be this hard to just sit down and do it. You could say, well, you were a kid back then, so you had all the time in the world and none of the adult worries, and sure, that is part of it. But what I think is more of a distraction than adult worries and responsibilities, my phone. I'm not kidding. If I have it next to me, my eye glances at it involuntarily. If I don't have it with me, I feel like something is missing. That's ridiculous. I bet you feel exactly the same because it's designed to do that to you. The social media apps we use have been specifically made to draw you in. And here's the thing, it's not just the amount of time we spend on social media, it's the type of content we're consuming. Guys, it's rewiring our attention spans. With longer media, it's easier to stop watching and give up the search for something interesting. 6-second Vines or 30-second TikToks solve that problem by pretending to need no real time investment. But in reality, the investment, or rather the sacrifice, is huge. While it's true that these things were designed to appeal to basic animal psychology, it is becoming apparent that they are now actively changing our brain functions too. It's a vicious cycle. Short-form media suits our brief attention spans, but overconsumption further exasperates our collective inability to concentrate on anything for extended periods of time. We no longer want to wait for the good bits, and short-form media gets straight to the point. I don't know about you, but these days, even in just the past year, I can't focus on long-form stuff anymore. I struggle to watch films without looking at my phone. I pick shorter videos in general because I want the information quickly instead of going deeper. And the worst one, I get so distracted while reading books. I will pick one up and it takes me ages to get into it, to sink into the story. And that's not the book's fault, that's me. Reels, TikTok, Shorts, whatever, they're all bite-sized pieces of content that are designed to grab your attention and leave you wanting more. They're literally designed to do that, with opening hooks, storytelling, visual hooks, the answer is in the description, blah blah blah. All these things are designed to grab your attention and keep you watching. I know because I've watched the videos that tell you how to do it and I have tried it myself. People are creating these videos using psychology to grab you and keep you, and those are just the creators. And hey, I don't blame people for doing this, the system is designed that way. If the only way to get anyone to actually see your stuff because the algorithm is based on watch time and shares, then you're going to create highly engaging, sensationalist content that keeps people watching. It's why rage bait exists, it's why people blatantly lie or use ChatGPT to come up with content without fact checking, because it gets them views, shares, and comments. Anyway, here's where the problem lies. The people who run these social media platforms have designed them to manipulate your brain. They know exactly what they're doing. They'll release updates that seemingly make no sense, that we didn't ask for, but all they're there for is to keep us on the app. TikTok's infinite scroll, the feature any short-form video app has adopted, is a perfect example of one that's sole purpose is to keep you there because it never ends.
If you don't give your mind or your brain the time to catch up with your impulses, you don't give people stopping cues, you just keep scrolling. And the thing we didn't realize is we're using our design techniques and it became so powerful that it just addicts people.
How do you feel about that now that you know
Oh man.
that it's habit forming? Do you feel guilty?
Yeah, I do.
Do you believe this guy? Because I sure don't. You don't have a natural stopping off point like you would at the end of a film or a chapter of a book. You can just keep going forever, never realizing how much time you've wasted because you're getting a dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit. These features have been compared to gambling methods that are used to create psychological cravings. In this article from The Guardian, Dr. Mark Griffiths, a professor of behavioral addiction, says, there are whole departments trying to design their systems to be as addictive as possible. They want you to be permanently online, and by bombarding you with messages and stimuli, try to redirect your attention back to their app or web page. Honestly, this whole article is pretty eye-opening, so I'll leave it in the description if you want to give it a read. And perhaps one of the most troubling pieces of information I found while doing research for this video was that a lot of CEOs and higher-ups in tech are not letting their kids near social media. They're not letting them use the thing they've created. What does that tell you? I spend hours just sitting after a long day scrolling on Instagram because my brain tells me I'm too tired to pick up a book or draw or craft or something, I don't know. And in that moment, it feels like you're relaxing, but all you're really doing is being told your eyebrows are too wonky, you're not eating enough protein, or I don't know, seeing a lot of inaccurate information about Japan from other tourists and then getting really angry at all that misinformation, and now you miss Japan and want to return so you can prove everyone wrong. Is that just me? The only time I can ever really pull myself out of it is when I reach Soapstagram or Slimestagram. Then I know I've been scrolling for too long. So when you're consuming all of this super short content, it makes it really hard to not only find the time for longer form content, but to get the motivation and the willpower to do it. Not because you don't want to, but because the alternative, your phone, social media, is so much easier. This isn't me being dramatic or me not having self-control, this is science. You're not crap at staying away from your phone, you're being manipulated into needing it. There's a difference. So let's go back to my screen time, shall we? If I'm spending this many hours on Instagram almost every day, what else could I be doing with that time? That's right, reading. But seriously, I know sometimes it's hard to focus if you've had a stressful day, there's science behind that too, but scrolling on Instagram is not the solution. Instead, I believe, longer form and other hobbies are. I have been trying, and clearly it's taking me a while to get there, to replace my scroll time with longer form content time. This includes longer form YouTube videos, reading the news articles from start to finish, watching anime, and of course reading. Guys, I'm gonna be honest, this is not easy at first. I'm clearly still struggling and giving into my brain's need for short form dopamine rush, but this has to happen or it's going to get so much worse for all of us. I'm a regular reader, but I'm struggling. I love books. I would much rather be reading than scrolling, but I'm picking scrolling anyway. Can you imagine what it will be like in a few years from now when social media finds some new way to grab our attention? You know it's going to, or it's already happening. So if you're like me and you're sick of social media controlling your attention, you've looked at your screen time and you're ashamed, you'd rather be spending your time doing something else, then it's time to do something about it. I honestly don't think app blockers work. Our need for our phones is too psychologically ingrained now for them to do anything, especially when you can just click pause or turn off the setting to get access again. We need to find alternatives. Things we can do instead of scrolling, no matter what kind of shape our brains are in at the time. Things to do when you're tired. You know, like things that are easy to say yes to. For me, that's watching anime or a long-form YouTube video. Then things to do when you have more bandwidth. Things like drawing, reading, watching something like a documentary or a video essay, gardening, you know, hobbies. You might also need to chuck something in there for your waiting time, because we all love a good scroll while we're waiting in line or for food to turn up, something like that. You could catch up on the news articles or listen to an audiobook or just see what it's really like to actually be bored again. I'm going to be honest, I don't have all the answers and I'm not going to pretend I do, because you've seen the numbers and I'm clearly not an expert in reducing screen time. However, I do know there's a problem. If we're being told there's a crisis with children not reading as much due to screen time, among obviously other things, then you just know it's happening to adults too. So what are you going to do about it? Tell me in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for another video.